recording again, so if members could take your seats and ready yourself on Teams. Thank you. Okay, croeso nôl pawb, welcome back everybody. Thanks for bearing with us on quite a long meeting this afternoon. So we're going to run straight back into item 3B, which is the Arboriculture Management Plan on pages 13 to 45. We've got James here on this item. James, if you want to say something briefly, you can. We have got one question from a member already, but I don't know if you want to say a few quick words before we go there.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, there's not a lot to add to the report. Just to say, this has come about as part of a service review that we've undertaken. We've identified a need to sort of formalise a tree inspection plan, and what we've done is we've sort of amalgamated that new document with the existing arboriculture management plan that went through back in 2021.
Okay. Thanks, James. We did sort of give a brief run through in pre-briefing on this as well. Kathy, you've got a question on this item.
Yeah, just briefly. I agree, it's all fairly straightforward. But following on from the discussion that we've just had, how secure is the budget for this plan in terms of funding?
Thanks, Kathy. James, do you want to start with this one, or do you want to hand over to Mike?
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Chair, and thanks, Councillor. So we've, as part of the establishment change I talked about earlier, we have now got 6 operational staff, 1 tree inspector and 1 arboriculture officer, sorry, when it comes to arboriculture management within the neighbourhood. The issue we've got, as is detailed in the report, is the initial inspection that's required to get us to a position where we sort of are in line with the tree inspection policy. But we've got some capital monies available in here that we can utilise for that. Once we get to that position, the inspection programme is a 3 and a 5 year cyclic programme, which we'll be able to run with the resources we currently got. The issue around the resources then is when it comes to obviously any works that get identified through those inspections that are required, and they will need some capital investment.
Thanks, James. Kathy, do you want to come back?
No, that's fine. So basically, as long as nothing further is cut, then it's okay, right? Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other officers have anything to add, Mike?
Yeah, so the initial money is secure, and as in the report, we'll be bringing a further report back to members. And I guess if there's a question of public safety, for example, we'd have to reprioritise some capital at that time.
Yeah, so once that initial survey is done, we'll have a better understanding of the state of all of that green infrastructure, I suppose. And I think that's one of the good things about this report. In almost contrast to what we've been saying, this is an investment in understanding all of those risks, isn't it, and how to manage them. Nicola?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And you'll be aware that most years we bring forward sort of reports to corporate directors group with pressures. So in-year pressures that the individual directorates are experiencing. And for example, one year, actually it was multiple years, we brought forward a pressure relating to ash dieback, and we were allocated additional money to deal with that issue. So if something occurred which we hadn't factored in, we could identify it as an in-year pressure. That doesn't necessarily mean it will get supported, but there is that avenue available to us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nicola. Does anyone else have any questions or any officers have anything else to add on this item? I don't think I can see any. So, members, I'll take you to the recommendations which are listed on page 22 of the agenda pack. Could I have a proposer and a seconder, please?
Happy to propose.
Proposed by Tim Bowen and second by Councillor Rob Wood in the chamber. Okay, so if members do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that this report and this recommendation is approved.
I see no indications to the contrary, Chair. Therefore, this report has been approved.
Thank you very much. So we'll now move on to the next item on our agenda. Item 4 is to consider items on the Scrutiny Forward Work Programme, and we have no items today. Item 5 is performance monitoring, and again, there's no performance monitoring reports in today's meeting. So we'll then move on to item 6, which is the selection of items for future scrutiny or the Scrutiny Forward Work Programme. There are 2 things I just want to point out to members that have changed since our pre-briefing last week. If members have read the report coming on Friday for waste, it does include 2 items that were on our forward work programme. So the side waste and mist bin policy items are included within the papers on Friday, which we weren't aware of when we had that discussion to put them on the forward work programme. For the time being, I'm going to leave them on there, depending on how our discussion on Friday goes. If we need to then take them off, we'll take them off. But we leave it as it is for now in case we do need to dive into those policy areas, because we've got quite a lot to cover on Friday in terms of the sort of big headline policy changes. So that's the only update really in terms of the forward work programme. I'm not sure if members have anything they want to raise on that that they haven't raised in pre-briefing, but as usual, they can raise those items at any time with myself or Democratic Services. Okay, so I can't see anything from members on that. So we'll move on to item 7, which is urgent items, and I have no urgent items. So we'll then move to resolve to go into private. So we have a few private items to consider, members. So I do need a proposer and a seconder to go into private session. Could I have that, please?
Happy to propose, Chair.
Proposed by Councillor Tim Bowen and seconded by Councillor Rob Wood again. Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary, I'll take it that you are in favour of moving into private session.
I see no indications to the contrary, Chair. Therefore, we will now be able to move into private session, and I'll just stop the recording.
Thank you, Tom.